Welcome back to Adventure Repeats. Glad to see you here. So today we're putting a steering stabilizer on this 2024 Chevrolet 2500 HD. Now we're not just going to buy a generic kit. We are going to build one, and there's a couple reasons why. Most of the kits you find use this bolt hole up here and attach to this bracket here and kind of right in line. Now the problem is this bolt right here is part of your control arm system. So to get that there, you either have to pull this bolt all the way out with your suspension loaded up, which is very dangerous, or you have to back it out and it just comes with a slot and drops in there. Challenge is, if that walks its way out, you now have a loose bolt and a flopper and steering stabilizer. Also, this right here is actually recessed in. So it goes from a high surface, then drops down into this bolt hole pocket. Now, if your bracket is a straight bracket, it comes in there, it comes in at an angle, which this bolt is no longer torqued to spec then because you're cocking it at an angle and it can actually loosen up or fail. So you don't want that. So to properly load and torque your control arm bolt, you do not want to have a crooked bracket. And another big thing is quality itself. So you can buy the cheaper kits like Rough Country and they do work. The problem is I want something to work for more than 10,000 miles. And from my experience, Rough Country, I've known them for a long time, and they're more entry level, low tier quality as far as parts. So unless things have changed over the years, they've always been entry level, so they're kind of the lower end, and that works just fine for most people. But I want to keep this truck for a long time. I want this to last for a long time as well. So I went with the Skyjacker shock. Now this is the 9000 shock, and I'll have a link in the description as well. And I went with Skyjacker because they're more mid-tier. They've always been mid-tier, and they've always kind of stayed in the mid-tier. They're not top tier, way up at the top like Fox, which I think is more branding anyways, and Bilsteins, but they're good mid-tier and they're good price point as well. So with this shock, this is actually a shock for a 2018 or 2017 truck. So from 17 before, they all had steering stabilizers and 3/4 ton platform. And 18, they have the brackets on the frame, but there is no steering stabilizer in it. I did plenty of research, and everybody that's using the new kits and putting the shocks in the new kits are actually using a shock from that generation truck. So that's what this shock is, and I picked this one specifically because it comes with the extra parts that I actually need. So inside it, it has a nice steel shock tube. It's nothing fancy, but it will work. I just have to assemble it. And the key is this set right here. This comes with the tapered stud and stud end for the shock itself. So I need this tapered piece to go on to the steering linkage that has the tapered hole in it on the rack itself. So if I did not have that, I'd have to drill it out or put a tapered sleeve in there. And a lot of kits, if you look at them, some either come with this or some come with aluminum taper sleeve. You just punch in there and bolt it through as well. So there's plenty of different options out there for kits and how they do it, but this is the one for an 18 before to make it so it actually fits this truck. And we're going to build a different style bracket as well. Instead of having one, we use that one bolt hole and the bolt that's on the control arm, we're going to make one use the two bolt holes there and make it a self-sustaining, self-floating bracket itself. So it's on its own thing as if it was an add-on to the frame. We're not tying in suspension components and things like that, so we're not going to involve that and not have to worry about compromising the integrity of the frame and voiding warranties and things like that. So we're going to go through the process of building this and showing how it works. Now this stabilizer shock does technically have to be assembled, and that is assembling being put the bushings in and put the inner sleeve in there as well. So the easiest way to do it is just take the bushing, shove it in there. Usually you can push in by hand. Or the magic of editing. Look at that, ta-da, we are done. Bench vise does make this a lot easier just to press it in, but that is done. So that's what we're going to start with. And go put this in the rack side and go from there. And for what it's worth, it is the nut with the yellow Loctite on it that goes on the tapered side of the shaft. And that right there is where it goes. So that's the steering rack. That's usually the hole that's just empty. And a 3/4 or 19mm wrench tightens up that nut. And right here you can see this hole and the hole right there. Those are the two holes in the frame that we are going to be using for making our bracket. Now with the stud installed, I need to know where to mount the other end of this ram. So with this, I took the measurement from fully collapsed, fully extended, gave me a fully extended measurement, cut it in half, and that gives me my nominal center point to work with. So right here are my on-center measurements from collapsed and extended. Here it is in decimal form to make it easier. math it out, and that is my variance right there, so about 9 9/16. Split that in half, then add it to the shorter amount, which gives you 19 and 11/32, which is pretty much 19 3/8, and that gives me my nominal measurement. From there, I took this bar that I have as scrap stock and cut it to length, drilled one hole on there. Now on this side, it doesn't matter because I just need to know where the end is and where my stock ram will be so I can get adjustments and figure out where it's going to be on the frame rail itself. With the steering wheel in the middle position, this gives me a place to mark on here and where the frame it comes out to. So this is the angle. So now you can see it is actually at a canted angle right here. Most brackets you find do not show the canted angle, so it ends up being a bind in the system. And that would work. It's not like it's a big deal, but it will cause you to bind and really wear on the bushing moreover. And you can see right down in here, this is the GM instructions for a 11 to 19. And you can see this mount is actually canted. Now, if it didn't really matter that much to be canted, GM wouldn't have engineered their older trucks with it that way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it a canted system as well and just make sure the brackets are angled. It's a little bit more work on my end, but if GM did it as part of a factory thing instead of just making it a square mount, it's there for a reason. So I want to do one step better than what the aftermarket's doing, just to make a quick bracket and throw on and make it the right way. So here we have the design. So what it is a nice flat bar bracket that we're going to attach right to the frame through the two holes. And I start with the bar and just offset it. And then I made my initial tab up here. This tab right here, you can see that. What I did is I made that tab with enough height where with the shock bolted into that tab and this bolt right there, it has enough clearance where that shock tube doesn't hit that bolt. So that's how I set that height. It's angled because when I test fit the bracket up in the frame rail and allowed that bar to come in there, that allowed me to get that height. So that set that angle right there. So I hooked it up in the truck and set it down there, and I actually used epoxy, a two-part epoxy, to initially hold this tab at this angle in location. I let it dry for an hour or two, and once it dried, I very carefully removed that bar, and that left me with my angle, which I could then go over to the welder and tack weld it into place. And from there, I needed to make the other side. So what I did was take a stack of washers, tape them together, make a spacer for the actual shock tube gap on there itself. So then, when I set it there, took a bolt through it and held the tab on there, voila. That gives me my second angle and spacing of the second bracket, where then I just cut it out and made a long leg on this side. You don't have to have the long leg. I chose to do a long leg because the tab is just fine, but this leg gives strength and rigidity down this bracket. So if I just have a tab right here, this bracket can bend and twist on just the forces alone with the steering stabilizer. This is 1/4 inch, but under severe circumstances, this can bend and flex, so having this long edge on there will allow it to be stiffer, especially across this bolt right here, and distribute the weight and pressures across it better. So I left the long leg on there. It's not as necessary, but aesthetically I like it and it serves a function. It is also notched around the shock body itself, so the body will not come into contact with this, along with this bolt itself. One important consideration that I did was when I test fit that bracket in the truck and then took the steering stabilizer and put it in there at neutral position. Checked it, made sure it fit, everything worked out. Did a test, see if I could feel on both sides, which my fingers couldn't fit through between the actual steering bar and the shock tube. But I have a nice little shim that I can run back and forth to make sure it cleared so I wasn't making any contact. And then I disconnected it, turned my steering wheel all the way left, and then reset it. So what I did is I left it attached to the steering arm and then just went to the other side and then extended it out to make it touch and see if it would actually fit. And I ran into a few issues. The actual bolt that comes out of the pitman arm itself is extra long. It's got the hex on there to make it easier to install and remove it in the future. That was contacting the body of this shock. So the only options I have were to cut these and just relocate them further down, a long ways down. I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to compromise that because then that starts putting pressure on the actual strut bushing. So instead of being a nice neutral, it would actually be pulling at an angle. So you'd actually be pulling against that bushing and be angled and be squishing it weird, which all the brackets and stuff like that you find on the internet currently do, and that was something I wanted to avoid. So what was my solution to solve that problem? Instead of having the body being on the frame side, I switched the bushings. So now the body is on the steering rack side and the shaft is actually at the frame side. What that does is when the steering is full right, where that pitman arm could be hitting it, it is now actually in the body, in the gap right here. So it does not no longer come in contact. And then if I go full left, it's clear. Go full right, it's clear. It does not hit this body, so it's plenty of space all the way around it, shimmed to make sure top and bottom, all that was clear, nothing was coming into contact. Now, is this the optimal place to have the shock and have it reversed? Not really, but if you think about it, these shocks are not actually at a huge angle like your normal shocks in a truck. If that was the case, you do want the body side to be down, just the way the fluid sits in these. It actually has a better way it works, and it doesn't fall out the seal as well. So they're meant to be vertical if it's a normal shock. But being a steering stabilizer, it's horizontal anyways. So any air pocket that might be is always going to be in there, regardless if it's just a hair up or a hair down. So for me, to not have stress on these bushings and be a more natural pull on the steering itself, to be more even all the way across, I'm not pushing, I'm not pulling, I'm not putting more angles and more pressures on the idler arm than I wanted to begin with. This is my trade-off, to have it be just backwards, and it's still mostly flat. It's just a hair off on that angle, and that's a trade-off I'm okay with having. The only way to solve that is moving this down, or just taking these tabs, and it's got to be pushed inwards towards the frame, which means I'd be drilling the holes a lot lower, or I would have to get rid of the bracket altogether and just straight weld them to the frame. That's the only way I can get away from that bolt that hangs out from the pitman arm itself to clear the shock body itself. So that's what they did on the older trucks, is they made it nice and tight to it. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to let this be backwards. It's not going to hurt anything. It's going to be just fine, but it will solve my problem and clear everything and still allow me to have a bracket that does not interfere with anything in the frame, does not interfere with anything with the bolt and the suspension, things like that. So what I need to do next is clean it up, round the corners, make it aesthetically pleasing, then paint it and reinstall. So that is the next course of action. So I have washers on the backside here currently, so it's not just a flat piece of metal up against that frame coating, because over time, if this wiggles around, wiggles around, wiggles around a lot, that coating can eventually kind of mush out, and then now it becomes metal to metal, and I could start creating a spot for rust. So I'm going to do washers, so that way if it's going to rust anywhere, it's going to be at that spot only. It allows me to get a better clamp surface on there as well. So this bracket's less likely to wander, because we all know that coating, when you put pressure onto it, it's actually very slippery. It's not going to just stay in place. So that's why I have the washers on here, to create a clamping surface so the bracket doesn't want to wander and things like that. These are 3/4 inch bolts, so that is the size hole that's in the frame. Your normal kits give you a sleeve and then a smaller bolt to go with it. I went for the full 3/4 bolt, and this does clear, so everything works as it is. So now I just need to clean it up and then do a final installation. And this right here is final form. Pretty much all we did was just rounded some edges, broke a corner, and just shaved it off, make it look nice, and painted a pretty blue. Son picked out the color, kind of matches the truck, so it works, and I'll roll with it. But that's really all there is to it. Nice and heavily painted. So we just got to get this on the truck, and we are ready to go. And there it is, fully installed. Clears the bolt, and fits in there very nice. And fits great on this side. So now that we got everything fully installed, we're gonna go drive it around, put about 100 miles on it, and then we're gonna recheck and retorque all the bolts just to make sure everything is good to go on the system, in case everything's settled in and moved around a little bit. We just don't want to make sure we don't drive it and end up having something to walk loose on us. And so far, you can tell it's there. You don't have, if you let go of the steering wheel, how it goes back to center really quickly, it actually slows it down. And hitting some of the bumps and curbs and things like that, you can tell there's not as much bump steer as there used to be. It's actually pretty darn smooth now. So it works out really nice. This was a very simple upgrade. And what I did is more work than it would be just buying the generic kits out there. So I'm going to leave a link out there as well for you if you just want to buy one of the other kits that are out there that work. A lot of people use them. Or I'm going to leave a link for the same steering stabilizer shock that I used in case you want to build one for yourself, because now you see it's not that hard if you just got a little bit of time on your hands, and having a bar as a template just to use to make sure you line up all your brackets makes life a lot easier. So other than that, hopefully you can like the video, comment, tell us what you think, tell us what you can hear about, and subscribe. We got a lot of great content coming out, a lot of great content on the channel, so be sure to check it out. And remember to have a great adventure.